Welcome to Travel for Cheap. Today, we are traveling to Costa Rica. Costa Rica is one of the most popular relocation destinations in Latin America. It is famous for tropical beaches, rainforests, volcanoes, wildlife, and a relaxed lifestyle. It also has something that many other Latin American countries do not: a very large and well-established expatriate community. Costa Rica is politically stable. It has relatively strong infrastructure. It has universal public health care. It has a large private healthcare system. English is widely used in tourism and expatriate communities. And the country is located only a few hours by air from the United States. But there is a catch. Costa Rica is not particularly cheap compared with many other countries in Latin America. Housing can be expensive. Imported products can be surprisingly expensive. Vehicles are expensive. And the cost of living varies dramatically from one region to another. So how much does it actually cost to live in Costa Rica? What are the job opportunities? Which regions are best? How difficult is Spanish? And is Costa Rica still a good destination for an English-speaking expatriate? Let us find out. Costa Rica is located in Central America. It sits between Nicaragua to the north and Panama to the south. The Pacific Ocean is located to the west. The Caribbean Sea is located to the east. Despite being relatively small, Costa Rica contains an extraordinary variety of landscapes. The country covers approximately 20,000 square miles. That is roughly the size of West Virginia. However, Costa Rica contains tropical rainforests, cloud forests, dry forests, mountains, volcanoes, valleys, beaches, wetlands, and coral reefs. Costa Rica is divided into 7 provinces: San Jose, Alajuela, Cartago, Heredia, Guanacaste, Punta Arenas, and Limon. The Central Valley contains the largest concentration of population and economic activity. The Pacific Coast contains some of the country's most popular beach destinations. The Caribbean coast has a completely different cultural atmosphere. And the northern and southern regions offer much more rural lifestyles. Costa Rica also has dozens of volcanoes. Several are active or potentially active. Costa Rica is also famous for biodiversity. For nature lovers, this is one of the country's greatest advantages. Costa Rica has a tropical climate, but there is an important detail. The climate varies dramatically depending on elevation and location. Instead of 4 seasons, Costa Rica generally has a dry season and a rainy season. The dry season generally runs from December through April. The rainy season generally runs from May through November. However, the Caribbean coast follows a somewhat different rainfall pattern. Do not choose Costa Rica based only on the country. Choose the climate that fits your lifestyle. If you want sunshine and dry weather, look at Guanacaste. If you want cooler temperatures, consider the Central Valley. If you want tropical rainforest, look toward the Caribbean or Southern Pacific. Now we get to the biggest question. How expensive is Costa Rica? Costa Rica is affordable compared with many parts of the United States and Western Europe. But it is not one of the cheapest countries in Latin America. For a single person living comfortably, a reasonable budget is approximately $1,500 to $2,500 per month. A very frugal person may be able to live on approximately $1,200. A person living in an expensive beach community, eating out frequently, owning a vehicle, and purchasing imported products can easily spend $3,000 or more per month. The biggest variable is housing. Housing prices vary dramatically. A 1-bedroom apartment in San Jose can cost approximately $500 to $800 per month. Outside the city center, you can sometimes find apartments for approximately $400 to $600. Modern furnished apartments in desirable expatriate neighborhoods can cost considerably more. Escazú and Santa Ana are among the most popular areas for higher-income expatriates. A modern 1-bedroom apartment in these areas can easily cost $700 to $1,000 per month. Beach communities can be even more expensive, but a modest apartment may cost approximately $700 to $1,000. And a modern furnished apartment or house can easily cost $1,500 or more. For a family home, budget approximately $1,000 to $2,500. Groceries in Costa Rica are a mixed story. Local products can be relatively inexpensive. Imported products can be expensive. Rice, beans, tortillas, vegetables, fruit, eggs, and locally produced meats are generally reasonable. Imported cheese, American snack foods, specialty cereals, sauces, wine, electronics, and other imported products can cost dramatically more. A single person who shops locally and cooks at home can spend approximately $250 to $400 per month. A household that purchases many imported products can spend $500 or more. Eating out in Costa Rica is moderately affordable. A basic meal at an inexpensive restaurant can cost approximately $10. A meal for two at a mid-range restaurant can cost approximately $40 to $50. Local restaurants called sodas are usually the best value. A filling local meal can often cost approximately $6 to $10. Utilities vary considerably depending on housing and air conditioning. A basic apartment without heavy air conditioning use might have electricity, water, and other utilities totaling approximately $70 to $150 per month. Air conditioning can significantly increase electricity costs. Internet can cost approximately $40 to $60 per month, depending on speed and provider. Mobile phone service can cost approximately $15 to $30 per month. A reasonable budget for utilities, internet, and mobile service is approximately $150 per month. Healthcare is one of Costa Rica's major advantages. Costa Rica has a public healthcare system known as the Caja Costarricense de Seguro Social. It is commonly called the Caja. The system provides healthcare to residents through public clinics and hospitals. Costa Rica also has a large private healthcare system. Private healthcare is significantly cheaper than comparable healthcare in the United States. A basic private doctor consultation may cost approximately $50 to $75. Specialist consultations can cost approximately $75 to $150. Dental care is also relatively affordable. Transportation is inexpensive if you use public transportation. A local bus ride can cost approximately 50 cents to $1.50 depending on the route. Costa Rica has one of the stronger and more diversified economies in Central America. Tourism is extremely important, but tourism is not the only major industry. Costa Rica has become an important location for multinational companies. Costa Rica is also becoming increasingly important as a location for shared service centers and multinational corporate operations. San Jose and the surrounding Central Valley contain the largest concentration of professional employment. A person who speaks both English and Spanish has a significant advantage. However, Costa Rica is not an easy destination for an unskilled foreign worker. Local wages are much lower than American wages. Employers generally have to comply with immigration and labor regulations when employing foreigners. For many expatriates, remote employment or a specialized professional position is a better strategy. Remote work can make Costa Rica financially attractive. Imagine earning $4,000 per month from a U.S. company while living in Costa Rica. That income can provide a very comfortable lifestyle outside the most expensive tourist communities. At $5,000 per month, a single person can live extremely well. At $3,000 per month, you can still live comfortably if you choose your location carefully. Costa Rica also has a digital nomad residence program. The program allows qualifying remote workers to stay in Costa Rica for an extended period while earning foreign income. However, income requirements and legal conditions apply. Always verify current requirements before applying. Languages. Costa Rica is much simpler linguistically than countries such as Malaysia or Suriname. The official language is Spanish. Spanish is used in government, education, business, healthcare, transportation, and everyday life. For an English speaker planning to move permanently to Costa Rica, learning Spanish should be a major priority. The good news is that Costa Rican Spanish is generally considered relatively clear. Costa Ricans commonly refer to themselves as ticos. The Spanish spoken in Costa Rica has several distinctive characteristics. One famous feature is the use of usted. Costa Ricans frequently use usted in situations where other Spanish speakers might use tus. Spanish is important. However, English is also widely spoken as well. Now let us examine the major regions of Costa Rica. Region 1. San Jose and the Central Valley. First is the Central Valley. This is the most important region for employment. It contains San Jose, Alajuela, Heredia, Cartago, Satu, Santa Ana, and numerous surrounding communities. The climate is relatively mild. Healthcare is excellent. Shopping is excellent. Internet is generally reliable. There are universities. There are international schools. There are multinational corporations. There are restaurants from around the world. And there is a large expatriate community. Escazú and Santa Ana are particularly popular with higher income expatriates. Heredia and Alajuela can provide somewhat better value. Cartago tends to be cooler and more traditional. The major disadvantage is traffic. The Central Valley can feel crowded. If you want a tropical beach lifestyle, this region may disappoint you. But if you need jobs and modern services, it is the best region in Costa Rica. For an English-speaking expatriate, I give the Central Valley a 9 out of 10. Region 2, Guanacaste. Next is Guanacaste. Guanacaste is located in northwestern Costa Rica. This is the famous dry tropical region. It contains some of the country's most popular beaches: Tamarindo, Playas del Coco, Nosara, Samara, Flamingo, and numerous smaller beach communities. The region has become extremely popular with American, Canadian, and European expatriates. English is widely spoken. Tourism is the dominant industry. The weather is considerably drier than much of Costa Rica. The downside is cost. Popular beach towns can be extremely expensive. Housing can approach American prices. Restaurants aimed at tourists can also be expensive. For a wealthy retiree or a remote worker, Guanacaste can be fantastic. For someone on a limited budget, it can be frustrating. For an English-speaking expatriate, I give Guanacaste an 8.5 out of 10. For someone who wants beaches and sunshine, it may be a 9.5, but it is more expensive than other areas. Region 3, Punta Arenas and the Central Pacific. The Central Pacific coast is another popular destination. Major communities include Jaco, Quepos, and Manuel Antonio. This region is famous for beaches, surfing, fishing, wildlife, and tourism. The Central Pacific is more humid and rainy than Guanacaste. The cost of living varies significantly. Tourist areas can be expensive. Smaller communities can be considerably more affordable. For an English-speaking expatriate, I give the Central Pacific an 8 out of 10. Region 4, Southern Pacific. The Southern Pacific is much wilder. This region includes the Osa Peninsula, Dominical, Uvita, and surrounding communities. The Osa Peninsula contains some of the most biologically diverse ecosystems in Costa Rica. This is a destination for people who want nature. The cost of living can be moderate to expensive depending on the community. Infrastructure can be more limited. Internet availability should be checked carefully before renting a property. Healthcare options are also more limited than in the Central Valley. For an English-speaking expatriate, I give the Southern Pacific a 7.5 out of 10. Region 5, Lyman and the Caribbean coast. The Caribbean coast is completely different from the Pacific. Lyman is the largest city. Puerto Viejo is one of the best-known expatriate and tourism destinations. The region has strong Afro-Caribbean cultural influences. You will hear Spanish and English Creole. You will encounter Caribbean food. Puerto Viejo is especially popular with foreigners. The region is also wetter than Guanacaste. The Caribbean coast can be very humid, but the lifestyle can be incredible. For an English-speaking expatriate, I give the Caribbean coast a 7.5 out of 10. Now the big question: how good is Costa Rica for English speakers? I would give Costa Rica an 8.5 out of 10. You can survive with English. You can even build a relatively comfortable expatriate lifestyle using English. But you cannot fully integrate into Costa Rican society without Spanish. Costa Rica is particularly attractive for remote workers. A person earning a foreign salary can enjoy a very high quality of life. Costa Rica is not for everyone. If your primary goal is the absolute lowest cost of living, there are cheaper countries, though it is still cheaper than the US. Final verdict. So is Costa Rica a good country to move to? For many English-speaking expatriates, yes. But Costa Rica is no longer the ultra-cheap retirement destination that some older travel guides describe. It is relatively affordable. It is not dirt cheap. A single person should realistically budget approximately $1,500 to $2,500 per month for a comfortable lifestyle. A couple should expect approximately $2,500 to $4,000. And people living in expensive beach communities can spend considerably more. The biggest advantage is quality of life. You get tropical nature, beaches, rainforests, mountains, wildlife, private healthcare, a stable political environment, a large expatriate community, and relatively easy access to the United States. The biggest disadvantage is cost. Costa Rica can be expensive when compared with neighboring countries. Housing in popular areas can be surprisingly expensive. Imported products can cost a fortune, and local salaries are generally not comparable to American salaries. That leads to one of the most important conclusions. Costa Rica works best when you bring outside income. If you earn a US salary remotely, if you have retirement income, if you have investments, or if you have a specialized professional career, Costa Rica can provide an excellent quality of life. For an English-speaking expatriate, we give Costa Rica an overall score of 8.5 out of 10. The best region ultimately depends on what you want. Choose the Central Valley for jobs and healthcare. Choose Guanacaste for beaches and sunshine. Choose the Central Pacific for a balance between beaches and accessibility. Choose the Southern Pacific for nature. Choose the Caribbean for culture and tropical lifestyle. Choose the Northern Zone for volcanoes and adventure. And choose Monteverde for mountains and cooler temperatures. Costa Rica is not simply a place to move. It is a lifestyle decision. If you learn Spanish, earn a strong income, choose your region carefully, and embrace the Pura Vida philosophy, Costa Rica can offer an exceptional quality of life. Thank you for watching. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more budget travel and living content. And check out Amazon for our detailed guidebooks. We will see you in the next video.